Welcome to the INFOWARS Nightly News. I'm your host, Jakari Jackson. It's December 11, 2013, and let's get straight into the news. Top story headline: Russia warns America, we will respond with nukes. Now, this article is from Paul Joseph Watson, who's been following the developing situation in Russia from the Summer Games to the Syrian conflicts, and now this. Addressing the threat posed by plans by the United States to install a missile defense system in Europe, Russia's Deputy Prime Minister Dmitry Rogozin today asserted that Russia would respond with nuclear weapons if it was targeted by conventional American missiles. Now, as you recall, earlier this summer, Russia was playing war games targeting who? The United States of America. Now, I'm not claiming that Russia wants offensive action, but at this point, they are definitely claiming that they are willing and able to defend themselves if they feel threatened. Now, Russia may feel threatened by this missile situation. They also may feel threatened by the Syria situation. You remember when our government said that the Assad regime crossed the red line, saying that Assad had used these chemical weapons, even though there is virtually no evidence of that. But there was evidence of the Syrian rebels with the black al-Qaeda flag in their videos playing with this missile delivery system. Now, I can't visually confirm just by looking at the video that they were playing with chemical weapons, but the rebels definitely do have some type of missile delivery system, and I think they are willing to use it, but don't blame it on Assad when you do. But that's the situation going on in Russia, so definitely be aware of this. If you have an ear to a head of state or somebody with some power, definitely tell them, keep this in mind if you plan to put those missiles over there. And we'll talk about missiles just a little bit farther into our broadcast. Cop who killed 13-year-old boy armed with plastic BB gun back on duty. You may recall this was a young man, I believe he was in California, Sonoma County to be exact. He was walking down the street with his BB gun AK-47 with an orange tip on it. At a glance, you may think it's a real gun, but if you paid attention, you'd see it had an orange tip. He encounters an officer. It seems that the officer just proactively opened fire on this young man. There was no evidence to point out that he was acting aggressive towards officers, no evidence to suggest that he actually pointed the weapon. The officer opened fire on him. He is a experienced officer, somebody who should know about these guns. And on the Alex Jones radio show today, Alex talked more about this topic.
Today is the day you may need to kill someone in order to go home. You cannot turn on the mean gene for yourself. Who will? Taking some kind of action, any kind of action, is critical, he wrote. And it goes on with his writings. Ladies and gentlemen, you turn your mean gene on when you know a predator's coming at you. I wanted to turn my mean gene on with those police in Dallas, with those sheriff's deputies. But I knew my real mean gene knew to beat them politically and rouse the public to the threat. Because I want my life to be spent in something huge. I really want to win, not have some caveman fight with you out in the street. And I wish I could unlock your mind, but I know most of you have already gone too far. I can't. You're so on the power trip of the programming. We've lost you. Now, and that goes for the general public as well. But imagine they have all this instinctive shooting training. Video games were created so that they could get Vietnam troops to kill people instinctively. That's what paper targets popping up, bad guy, good guy, lady with a baby. Now they have lady with a baby is the bad guy, if you're told. Instinctive shooting, Homeland Security. Kill the woman with the baby in her arms. Kill the 5-year-old boy. And that was confirmed by Homeland Security, and no one else picked it up. It was too extreme. No one could even believe that's what they're training for. They are training them to be absolute killers and get off on it and think it's manly.
And definitely our thoughts and prayers go out to the family of that young victim. Student told to stop resisting 56 times before fatal shooting, police say. This is what the police say. This is a situation that happened not too long ago right here in the state of Texas. A young college student was out, came in contact with an officer via a traffic stop. Witnesses say that the young man made a sarcastic remark to the officer, after which the officer opened fire. The officer is claiming that he told the man 56 times to, stop resisting arrest. And the last time I checked, resisting arrest is not a capital offense. So I'm not exactly sure how this officer felt threatened with this arbitrary number. I told him 56. There wasn't going to be a 57th time, so I opened fire on him. I definitely want to hear what this officer has to say about the shooting and how he thinks this is justified, just like the situation that happened not too long ago in Bastrop County. A young man was tased, fell to the floor, busted his head open, and, nobody's really been held accountable for that. I want to know why these officers felt the need to use this type of force, especially deadly force, in this situation. And the police state just keeps on rolling. As if you needed another reason not to shop at Walmart, here's this. Man handcuffed at Walmart after attempting to price match. Yes, the place that prides himself on low prices will arrest you and kick you out of their store forever for trying to price match. They were saying that this gentleman went to Walmart and was aggressive when he was trying to price match. I guess he came in contact with the managerial staff. They called the police arrived, and long story short, the man is now permanently banned from Walmart. But you're saying, why would you do a story about a guy getting banned from Walmart? That's not big of a deal. He's probably better off, and you're probably right. But the situation with Walmart, as you may recall, that happened earlier this year with an INFOWARS employee who was shopping at Walmart. And you may say, hey, he shouldn't have been at Walmart anyway. I'm not disagreeing with you. He probably shouldn't have been there in the first place, but he was. He goes to Walmart, makes a legal purchase of a box fan, not a big screen TV or some other big ticket item. He's approached by an unmarked, ununiformed loss prevention officer who looked like he was wearing a mock-up Metallica t-shirt. You can see him right there. He approaches our employee, says, hey man, I want to see your receipt. Our employee's like, who are you? He's probably some guy trying to rob me. So our employee walks out of the store. The guy follows him out the store, says, hey man, I'm gonna call the cops on you. Our employee says, okay, fine, I'll stand here and talk to the cops because I don't want the cops chasing me down later. The employee stands there, talks to the police officer, talks to the loss prevention officer, and the loss prevention officer bans our employee for life. And you're saying, once again, no big deal, right? The kicker about this is when he also got banned, at least our guy, I can't confirm this happened to this recent gentleman at Walmart, but our employee was not only banned from Walmart, he was put on a watch list. This is what the loss prevention officer told our guy. He said, you will not be able to come back into Walmart, no big deal, but you'll also not be able to work in security. If you ever need a security clearance to work at a job, you will not have it. Also, if you want to work for a Fortune 500 company, you will not be able to do that as well, all because you didn't want to show a receipt for a $20 box fan in the United States of America. So if you need another reason not to shop at Walmart, besides their ties to DHS with the telescreens, besides their employees constantly walking out and protesting the low wages there and so forth, you have another reason right now. So if you don't want to be put on a watch list, don't shop at Walmart. Lawmakers push for billions to pay for questionable missile defense system. The Senate and House Armed Services Committees have agreed to jack up spending on a highly questionable missile defense system by $358 million with an M to $9.5 billion with a B. In addition, the lawmakers want a homeland defense radar and are proposing to shower Israel with more money. Later on in the article, it states, if the defense bill is passed, hundreds of millions of dollars will be doled out to the two largest welfare recipients on the planet, Boeing and Raytheon, to build Israel's missile defense system. Now, I'm all about protecting the homeland here domestically, but spending all this much money to potentially, I guess, help Israel is a bit much, especially when you consider that we're here in the U.S. are not at a big risk from countries like Iran and also countries like North Korea as far as long-range missile systems. As Kurt Nimmo points out in the article, the experts are saying that these missile systems that are largely, we're concerned about Iran and North Korea, can't hit us because they don't have the proper range required to do that. So basically all this money is going to go to Israel if that's what this money is going to be spent on, because these guys can't hit us. You know, of course, we may be able to be hit by other countries, other threats, but Iran and North Korea are not a big threat to us as far as intercontinental ballistic missiles. Obama approval hits new lows. So this man who's out, you know, hanging out with the heads of state of Denmark and making kissy faces and taking selfies and so forth, he hit a new all-time low, which I'm not really surprised. Let's show our viewers that screenshot right there, and you can see the latest poll right now. And let's show them, yeah, so you can see the healthcare, the economy, Syria and Iran. And that's just part of the piece of this Obama block. Because while he was doing that simultaneously, he was out at the Mandela speech. This Mandela speech that cost you and me $500,000 per minute. This is, you know, what we're paying this guy. So he goes out there to deliver his speech when, you know, when he's not flirting with other people. And on a side note, there's a great montage of Michelle slightly moving over to where she's sitting between Obama and the head of Denmark. So yeah, I definitely encourage you guys to go check that out. But for this, you know, $500,000 a minute. And I checked with Kurt Nimmo, who wrote this article. He said it's $500,000 from us, the U.S. taxpayers, not the South Africans or anybody else. But while we're on this Mandela topic, if you take a look at the image on the screen, you can see the translator, the guy doing the sign language right there. And it turns out this guy really wasn't doing sign language. Now, from what I understand, in parts of South Africa, they have a different type of sign language than we do here in the States. But even with that in mind, the top experts are saying, even a friend of our producer, Rob Dew, who he was talking to right before this broadcast, he says he watched the Mandela speech, and they said this guy does not know what he's doing. So we don't know if this guy is just a fake, a fraud. We don't know if he is somebody's, stepbrother who just said, hey, man, you want some money? Just go up here and sign your hands for a little bit. People were saying this guy is pretty much a fraudster, a huckster, and I'm not exactly sure why he was doing what he was doing, but people are very upset about it. So if you're watching this, and if you're watching that and you said, what's this guy doing? You are definitely not alone. More misleading official employment statistics. Yeah. The payroll jobs report for November from the Bureau of Labor Statistics says that the U.S. economy created over 200,000 jobs in November. Later on in that same paragraph, it says the unemployment rate fell from 7.3 to 7.0, which is too much for the job gain. It seems that the numbers in the news of the reports are not conveying correct information. And why would they bother trying to give you the correct information? Because they expect you to be distracted anyway. And keep in mind, these employment numbers are taken from the people currently receiving unemployment benefits. So if you used to receive them, or you're not receiving them yet, or you just didn't apply for them, that's what these numbers are taken into account, not the total of people, the numbers of people who are just sitting at the house doing nothing. Those people don't really count into this. So you got that grain of salt on top of this, where they're saying that they're giving you the wrong numbers to begin with, just to kind of ease the situation. And we'll end tonight with this, something that's very disturbing to me. 6-year-old boy accused of sexual harassment for kissing a girl. And not only did he kiss the girl, he kissed the girl on the hand and on the cheek. Now, last time I checked, I'm not any type of expert on these type of subjects, but sexual harassment was an unwanted sexual advance. And from what I understand, the young girl actually enjoyed this. Now, if you want to debate whether, young boys and young girls, 6-year-old, should be kissing each other, that's one thing. If you want to talk about that, that's fine. But to label a 6-year-old a sexual harasser, I'm not exactly sure how far it's going to go beyond that. If they're going to try to label a kid some sex offender, I wouldn't be surprised if they did in this day and age. But keep in mind, had the boy went into the girls' bathroom, went into the girls' locker room, that would have been peachy keen. He could have did that all day long, because we've shown you those reports. But how dare he, in a gentlemanly fashion, court a young lady? You can't have that in the United States of America. You can't eat your Pop-Tarts. You can't play with your Nerf guns. You can't pack your own school lunches if you want to go to school. So if you can afford it, if you can find a way to do it, take your kids out of the public schools. That's just my advice for the day. Now, we're running this special for PrisonPlanet.tv. You can get a 15-day free trial. But beyond that, you can get the 5 months free. This is our special winter edition. If you go to PrisonPlanet.tv and you check that out, you can see the Alex Jones radio show, the nightly news, the special reports, all there on PrisonPlanet.tv. This is $5.95 for up to 11 people to use your membership. So stay tuned after this break for more special reports, and also a special event that Alex went to, hosted by Jesse James.
Introducing Pro One. All of your filtration in one system, portable, on the go. No more do you have 2 or 3 filters to just reduce sodium fluoride. You have a system that cuts out the sodium fluoride and up to 95% of hydrofluorosilicic acid. Advanced manufacturing technology combines silver-impregnated white ceramic with new Aquamedics advanced media for removal of fluoride and other heavy metals, all in one filter element. It is the only one that does it, and out of the gates, we have it discounted at 10% off with promo code WATER. This is the only system that in one unit helps reduce or remove pesticides, herbicides, chloramines, ammonia, and chlorine, hydrofluorosilicic acid, the most common form of fluoride not covered by other fluoride filter brands, and sodium hexafluorosilicate. Get your Pro Pure with the new Pro One filter today at InfoWarsStore.com or by calling 888-253-3139.